All right. Appreciate you guys being here, especially all of those of you guys who went to California. It's great to see you guys get back. I mean that sincerely. I watch a lot of other press conferences. Not everyone has the commitment from the people that cover them the way you guys do. So it's cool to go out there. I think, as I said after the game, I just have to say it again. Our fans were spectacular, just absolutely amazing. To have that many people take their hard-earned money and go out there, or people who live there, that support Husker Nation. So it's just such an amazing thrill, and I just am unbelievably grateful. I'm going to say a couple things for a minute, so just forgive me. But I do want to make sure I highlight just sort of all the things that are going on campus right now. Like, obviously, volleyball, number one. I mean, I don't know, have they lost a set? Was it 40-some in a row, 43? I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. But our rifle team, number one right now, and where they've come from in 2 years, amazing. Wrestling, I can't wait to, it's really cool that Bud went out and walked them out and see him wrestling at number two, bowling at number two. So really cool things happening. I'm hoping I can maybe get to men's or women's basketball here soon. I mean, they're off to exciting starts and doing great things. And, one of the cool things in my job is when we have a huge win like we did against UCLA, and you get the text from Fred and Amy and all those people. So really excited. State high school playoffs. I know there's 28 teams still in it, so good luck to those guys. I do want to highlight a couple things. It was a huge win, and to go on the road. I think it's our first time having three road wins since 2014, and we have one more chance, which would be the first time since 2010. So we're going to continue to work this week, so we're ready for that game next week. Obviously TJ being just the fifth true freshman, and I thought he went out and he was masterful. He did a great job, and I think the team really responded to him and had his back, and he brought joy and energy, and it was a lot of fun to see him doing what he was doing. Defensively, we still have not allowed 400 yards this season. We're only 7 teams in the country have not allowed 400 yards this season. So while I know there's things we wish we could do just a little bit better, there's a lot of things that we're doing at a really high level, and we're doing it with a lot of young players. And so I hope our players see, hey, continue to buy into the first floor of the development, continue to buy into Coach Butler and their position coaches, and where we are defensively will only continue to take off. And you see guys playing their best football, right? You see Keona Davis have a career day. You see Dylan Rogers get out there. You see Andrew Marshall making plays. Deshaun as a senior batting the ball down and making havoc plays. So excited and really proud of our special teams. Top 25 in punt returns. Punt return defense were third. Kickoff returns were fourth. Kickoff return defense were 14th. And so, Eck obviously does a tremendous job, he and his staff, but I think our players have really bought into it. So, anytime you can go out and do the things that, we're doing special teams-wise and defensively, you give yourself a chance. And then, I personally believe Emmett Johnson should be in New York for I think he should be a Heisman candidate. I think he should be a Doak Walker finalist, if not winner. And I think what he's doing is, fantastic. I hope people appreciate seeing him. He's a first-team All-American. And I don't know who was the last person that was first-team All-American. Was since 2011, Levante David. And so, just a couple highlights, because hopefully our social media people will match it up and they can make a go. But, he leads the nation in yards from scrimmage with 1,431 yards from scrimmage in 10 games. Ranks second in the FBS in total rushing yards and fifth in yards per game. Leads the nation by accounting for 37% of his team's total yards. Among power conference players, he's number one at 37.1. Jeremiah Love, another great player at Notre Dame, is second at 29.6. Emmett is one of only 3 players in the FBS with at least 10 rushing touchdowns and 3 receiving touchdowns. Only running back in power conference play with 4 100-yard rushing games in conference play. 2 pages, that's how good he is. Most rushing yards for a Husker since the Doak Walker Award finalist Amir Abdullah in 2014. Most touchdowns for a Nebraska player since Amir Abdullah had 22 touchdowns in 2014. Emmett became the first player in Big Ten since at least 1995 to have more than 125 rushing yards, more than 100 receiving yards, a rushing touchdown, and 2 receiving touchdowns in the same game. Wow. First player in Nebraska history to have 100 rushing yards and 100 receiving yards in a game. He'll win a bunch of awards this week, and we haven't been able to announce them yet. But really proud of Emmett, his character. And, I do have to say this. Like, if you saw the end of the game, you saw the TV copy, which I had a chance to see the TV copy. Everything that we've always wanted. Sometimes, it was a really good question that Sam asked me last year, like, hey, what kind of guys are you looking for? At the end of that game, they started interviewing me, and I was like, I said, TJ, get over here. They don't want to interview me. TJ, they want to interview you. And TJ immediately starts to talk about Dylan. Then he immediately starts to talk about the brother playing for his brothers on the team. And then Emmett gets in, and Emmett talks about Dylan. Then he talks about TJ. Then he talks about the O-line. Then he talks about all the other guys. And so in today's day and age, to have a team that talks about each other and not just themselves is really, really, really hard to do. And so I'm very proud of the guys. It's not me, that's the team. And I hope our players in this bye week take a moment to see how far they've come personally and where they're headed, and also look at the examples of the guys on the team who waited their turn. It's very, 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 very hard, and it's very, very not in vogue anymore to wait your turn. You know, sometimes it's like, well, I'll just go here and do this, just go there. But guys like Emmett, and they had chances, you know, they could have, but they stayed, and he deserves everything he's getting as long as everybody else. So really proud of the things that are happening. It should be a great bye week for us to get healthy, develop some young players, really look at each guy and what we can do to help them, and then continue to recruit. So with that, it was long, I apologize, but I think probably some of that needed to be said, and I'll answer your questions.
Why do you think Emmett hasn't gotten the national attention until these last, I guess, couple weeks?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully he will now, though, right? I mean, the flaw in college football today is so much of it is preseason this, preseason that. Like, look at the rankings of the teams that were the top teams, and really the CFP has figured it out, right? Like, they do it now. They wait and see your body of work, and they do it now. And so, you know, this team's going to be really good, but hey, wait, they're 3-6, and you know, this team, like, what's Minnesota's record right now? I don't know, 6-3. I mean, you know, like, how could you ever lose? Well, they're a pretty good team. And so I just think, you know, people kind of bias things. Like, this team has 2 losses and this team has 2 losses. This team's still in the top 15. This team's out of the top 25 because a lot of it's just pre. So, you know, Emmett's having a breakout season. You know, Emmett will have a lot of decisions to make. Does he want to go play in the NFL? You know what I mean? If Emmett decided to come back, he obviously would be a preseason All-American, Heisman Trophy. You know, he'd be on all the watch lists, you know. So, you know, I'm not so sure he shouldn't go play in the NFL, right? I think he's going to be a great pro player. So, but I think that's probably it as much as anything, right? But, you know, he's been dominant in big games. He's also been dominant in tough situations. And I think the one key stat, and I think Emmett would be the first to tell you, I mean, we have the best blocking wideouts. I mean, I have NFL guys sending me tapes of, like, man, look at your guys blocking. We have the best blocking wideouts. I mean, they're literally out there, like, hunting. They're not blocking, they're hunting. So we have great blocking wideouts. We have an O-line that, you know, I hope everyone appreciates how well that O-line run blocks. I mean, they block everything. Luke Lindenmeyer, the way Luke blocks, Heinrich, Caden Nectarnock has become like a hammer for us. So I think there's a lot of pieces to it. But I think what's really, really crucial about Emmett is they're coming in conference games. He didn't go get like 300 yards against, you know, so-and-so, and now all of a sudden that inflates his stats. Like Kenneth Williams. You know, we are where we are in kickoff returns. Those are in conference games. He didn't have some of these teams, like you look at them, they had a bunch of, you know, returns against the FCS school they played. Emmett's doing it, you know, versus real competition. And, you know, Minnesota was a tough game for us. I thought he was spectacular in that game. So it's not like, well, he had 1 or 2 big breakout games. It's just consistent execution. And like I said, I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you it's all those guys all doing it to allow Emmett to have the success that he's having.
As far as all that goes, I mean, Emmett's rolling. I think he's only given up 2 sacks in the last 3 games. I think that's right. What's changed? Is the offensive line has it taken a step forward? What's the explanation?
Yeah, well, I think the offensive line certainly has taken a step forward. You've also lost a lot. I mean, Donnie's had to, you know, develop guys to be ready to play. I mean, we've had a lot of guys get hurt, right? I mean, you look at your right tackle spot. You know, you've had Teddy, you've had Gunner. You went back to Teddy. Now you're playing with Turner. You know, I mean, you've had a lot of turnover and injuries and things like that. I think, you know, there's something to consistency. There's something to, like, the year before, like we just talked about with Emmett. Like, you know, Dana's, you know, in his first full year, and I think he's evolving in terms of, like, what he likes and what we do well. I think, we're running the ball more. You know, it's not probably quite as much drop back, and so we're not under as much duress. You know, TJ moved around some, you know. I mean, like, as I said, some of the sacks, if you go back and listen to me after those games, right, like, I think people just kind of blow out, oh, he's just coached people. Like, Some of the sacks were coverage sacks. Some of the sacks were 4-second sacks. Some of them were just, hey, we absolutely just got run over, right? Like, I think in the Minnesota game, it just was not a good night for us. It was not a good night for us, and they played really well. And but I think it's just a little bit of everything, to be quite honest with you. I feel like there's one other point to it that I had in my head, but I think we're doing the things that we do really well at a higher level, and like TJ did a good job of getting the ball out. We're running the football, so you sometimes have to live with, like, it was on the last drive, second to last drive. It was 3rd and 13, and we had a 2-play pack. It was either a drop back pass or an outside zone, and if we got 5 or 6 yards, I was going to go for it, and we had the perfect look. TJ goes to the outside zone, and the guy just beats one guy. But I think we're doing things like that and just living with the result a little bit more. But yeah, I think the offensive line, they've really worked hard. And I will also go back to Minnesota. We also played. This is just part of football. It's not an excuse, but Pritchett got ejected for playing hard and getting the targeting call, and then Rocco's finger went out his hand. So you go down, kind of a line that's already kind of beat up a little bit. You go down, and 2 guys have to step in and play, and not putting anything on them, but just it's just not a good night. So yeah, I think it's probably a mixture of all those things. I mean, as coaches, I think we have to adapt, but our players have worked really hard, and they've never stopped doing the process. And that's the biggest thing for me is, like, you see a lot of teams, they lose, and even last week, I mean, I'm still mad that we lost to USC. I'm still upset, and I still say to myself, what could I have done better? And there's a lot of things I could have done better. But, we did come back, and a lot of teams wouldn't have come back. And so I think there's real character and grit on the team.